What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Nights of Adventure. This is our first review that we're doing on the channel. I am Jason, and this is
DJ.
We're a father and son team that likes to travel. We just took one of our largest trips that we've ever taken, and we did it together. It was his first cruise, my second cruise, his first international trip, and I've been out of the country several times. So we're here today to talk about what you see on screen, or the company you see on screen. There's going to be a bunch of videos playing from the company. The company's name is MSC, and the cruise we went on is a 7-day cruise through MSC on the newest ship, MSC World America. It was a 7-night, 8-day cruise out of Miami, or Port of Miami. We visited the Dominican Republic, we visited Puerto Rico, and we visited MSC's private island, Ocean Key. We had 3 sea days,
I think it was 4 or 3.
Well, we were in port in Miami on the 10th. It was from the May 10th through the 17th. So we were in port on May 10th. We were at sea on the 11th. We were in the Dominican Republic on the 12th. On the 13th, we were in the Dominican Republic. Then we had a sea day, and then we had Ocean Key, and then we were back in Miami.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the floor to DJ first so that he can tell you guys what his experience was like on the MSC World America. And he can also, well, we'll get to that, but just give them an overall view of what you thought about cruising for your first time, and then we'll get into the kids club a little later.
It was fun, and I just really liked it. Like I said on the ship, I really wanted to stay forever, and it was so fun. I was having so much fun. Like, it felt like home, but on water. Like, I just don't know. It was super fun.
Okay. So let's start by giving you guys a little bit of, well, not necessarily background, but just speaking about the experience. And apologies if you hear any noise in the background. We have the dishwasher running. So day one embarkation couldn't have been smoother. We pretty much made it to the port the morning at around 11 a.m. and we're on the ship in about 10-15 minutes. We made it through. MSC has a brand new terminal that they built. Is the world's largest cruise terminal and it's in Miami. And they expedited the process and got us on board very quickly. Stepping onto the ship, very beautiful ship. I do got to give a little bit of history. My one other cruise I've been on was also through MSC, and it was on the MSC Seashore. So towards the end, you'll hear me do a little bit of comparison and what I thought about the Seashore compared to the MSC World America, or just making comparisons. But just to let you know, that's the only other ship that I've been on. So it's the only company that I can compare and contrast, and the only ship that I can compare and contrast. But like I said, we got onto the ship, and actually when we arrived to the port, it was very interesting. The Royal Caribbean Icon of the Seas, which is the current world's largest cruise ship, was also in port, and MSC's ship is like the number 4, number 5 largest ship in the world. They were nose to nose, and they're 2 of the newest ships. MSC's World America has been out for, as we record this, actively taking passengers, has been just over 30 days, just over a month. So what did you think about when we first stepped onto the ship?
So when I first saw the main lobby area, it was I saw I don't know how to explain it, but there was this big screen almost covering the whole entire lobby roof, and it showed different things. I think it changed every single hour or every single 30 minutes. But when I first stepped on board, it showed the ocean, and there were other ones leading all the way down through. It was just really cool. Chandeliers that looked like like lava lamps.
Okay, but like I said, we're not going to give you guys a day-by-day breakdown of everything that went down the ship. You can go back and watch our videos because we do have, we kept somewhat of a video diary. We're new at this, so we didn't capture as much stuff as some other YouTubers may have. But the one thing, like, if you're looking for a ship tour, there's other YouTubers who have a complete ship tour. We did do a cabin overview because I see in a lot of videos people miss a lot of things, so be sure to check out our cabin overview. We had cabin 1220. It's a balcony cabin, so make sure you go check that out if you plan on getting a balcony on the MSC World America. So I mainly want to talk about the pros and the cons. I know I have a lot of pros and I also have a lot of cons for this ship. So because like I said, this is going to be a review. Like I said, you can see the videos to see kind of what we did. But I do want to give DJ an opportunity to tell you guys about his kids club experience on board the MSC World America. But I also want to give a shout out to the staff on the ship before we get into all of that. Specifically, I want to shout out the people who did the kids club. I want to give a special shout out to my homeboy Daniel, who works on the ship. He's Afro-Colombian and works on the ship. He was very helpful in helping me navigate a couple things around the ship. And I also want to give a major shout out to Dr. E, who is the cruise director. From day one, he turned my son into a celebrity essentially on the cruise. He had him participate in basically the embarkation ceremonies and giving out prizes and everything. And it helped. My son was shy going onto the ship, and it helped him come out of his shell. He's not being as shy anymore. He was dancing at all the parties. Everybody knew who he was for the most part around the ship. So they say, "Hey, you're DJ, right? You were on stage the first day, and oh, you're his dad." So I want to thank you for making his first time cruising special, because this cruise was his birthday present. We did it for my birthday, but it was his birthday present. His opportunity to get out of the country. So thank you to the MSC staff for making it very special for DJ here and making him feel very welcome on the ship. So without any further ado, I feel like I've talked a lot. I'm going to let DJ tell you about all the activities that there were for kids to do on board, some of the things that they did in Kids Club. I know he said they flew some drones. They had little parties and quizzes and games and things they did around the ship. And they had an arcade on there for kids and everything like that. So tell the people what your experience was like doing kid stuff on the MSC World America.
So in my kids club, I was in the junior club, which is 7 to 11 years old.
Yep.
And we were the only ones who had the Lego room, which where you can just like build stuff out of Legos, like really cool stuff and stuff. And I didn't really go into Lego, but that was like my second most thing I did in the kids club when I had my free time to like play games. And then my first most thing that I do in kids club when I have the free time to play like games and build with Legos is playing the Xbox they had, and mostly I play Forza Motorsport, and I don't even play anything else. And I just try to get as much Forza Motorsport as I can in.
Is that the only console they had, or did they have other consoles?
They had 2 PS5s and the one Xbox that I was talking about like a couple seconds ago. And they had a Nintendo Switch, okay. And that's all the consoles.
Okay, and is your room the only one who had that, or was that shared with all the rooms?
What, the consoles?
Yeah.
No, because there's like split apart rooms.
Okay, but so that was in your room?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what else?
And so the kids club area, like where all the kids club's rooms are, there's a hallway connected to the arcade.
Did you guys go in the arcade?
No, but it's every single morning in the kids club. they take us over to the sportsplex on the ship, and we have this coach, and we play games, and then we go down to deck 6, and then we go into Luna Park, and then we do whatever they have planned for us. And then after that, I get to hang out with my dad again, and then after 3 o'clock or at 3 o'clock, they reopen so I can go back there for the rest of the day.
Let me speak on that real quick. So, when it is a C day, for the most part, it was like one or 2 days where it was a little different. On C days, because everyone likes to drop their kids off at Kids Club, they have opening hours and closing hours that are around lunchtime. So you can drop your kid off, I believe it is as early as 9 or 10 a.m. and you have to pick them up by 1 p.m. And then Kids Club doesn't open back up until 3 p.m. and then they can remain in there until 11 p.m. But on port days, they can be in there from opening to close. So like I said, at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. until 11 p.m. So that's some information for you guys on what DJ was just speaking about. So what else?
So, like I said, really fun because they had like 2 arcades. The deck 6 one, like right
outside Luna Park.
Yeah, like right outside the door. Like it's just like next door, and it's smaller than the deck 19 arcade. And the deck 19 arcade has the Formula Racer, which I did like. So I did that like 4 or 3 times, and I beat my dad. I beat these 2 people.
Okay.
And then the first time.
Nobody's here for that. Nobody's here for your tall tales, all right? Nobody saw it. Didn't happen. And I beat you on sport bikes. I beat you on Need for Speed. I beat them on every game in the arcade. We'll put it like that. Every game in the arcade. But I do want to speak about something he mentioned. Well, he didn't mention, but in the arcade, and I didn't realize this until the last day, essentially, or the second to last day, is that they have the classic games where you can win tickets inside the arcade. And it kept telling me that I had tickets, but I didn't see a redemption thing where I could redeem tickets. But there is on board a ticket redemption station. So just so you're aware, when it says you're winning tickets, or if you're one of those people who are into the carnival games like skee ball and classic games like that, they have those on board. You can win tickets and win prizes, but you have to win an obscene amount of tickets to win any prizes, because there's an issue on the ship that I'm going to get into that is making me rethink some of the things that I purchased on the ship and kind of the ways that I will be moving and navigating my entertainment or my libations and other things on MSC Cruise Lines. But is there anything else you want to talk about with the kid experience? Not always just Kids Club, but the kid experience. What did you think about? We went on the cliffhanger day 1 when we got on the ship. Thank God we did that, because
it broke.
Yeah, by day 3 it was broken. I had a feeling that was going to happen, because that's what happens with all of these new cruise ships. Royal Caribbean or NCL, I can't remember who it had. They had the big robotic arm thing that was in all their marketing, and that thing broke within like 2 months of that ship launching, and it was down for who knows how long. So we got on that. He was terrified, but we experienced it. We may have some footage or some photos of us on it in the videos when you go back and watch those. But yeah, we wanted to go do it while we were at sea. We did it in the port while we were sitting still. And I saw on the Facebook group page that it had broken. And then when we went up to deck 20, was it deck 20? Yeah, deck 20.
Yeah.
We saw it wasn't working. So that was one of those things. Another thing that we did on deck 20, we can't speak about the water park. He didn't really want to go to the water park, and we didn't make it there because he wanted to do kids club all the time. I'd be like, let's go to the water park.
I mean, I did swim in the indoor and the outdoor pool.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that. Yeah, he did swim in the indoor and the outdoor pool, and that's another thing we'll get into is how disgusting some people are and how disgusting those pools get. And I'm sure that's any cruise ship. So I always say, if you're going to get in the pool or that's part of your plan, make sure you shower accordingly after the pools. Or more essential, everyone needs a shower before they get in the pool. People are getting in there covered in suntan lotion or sunscreen or not bathing in any other ungodly fluids or whatever that they may have on their bodies, and it's just floating on top of the water, and you can just see the sheen, or you can see things just floating around in the hot tubs and in the pool. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, he didn't experience the water park. We did experience Jaw Drop. What did you think about Jaw Drop? If you haven't seen that, that's the big shark face slide they have that takes you from deck 20 all the way down to deck 8 until the World Promenade. So what did you think about Shark?
It was scary when I started going fast, but then I got a little bit stuck, so I had to like put my arms on the roof and I had to like push myself out. So it took me at least like 3 minutes to get out. Well, it took me at least 1 minute to push myself out, but in total it probably took me like 3 minutes to get all the way down to the ground.
It didn't take him that long.
maybe two.
I also had the same experience. I got stuck. So it's almost like one of those old carnival rides. They give you one of those felt sacks, basically. You put your feet in it. And we have video of it. And you go down, and we don't have footage of us going down and getting stuck, but we have footage of the setup. I have footage of him, so you can see that. You go down, and he got stuck, and he weighs less than me, and I'm way heavier than him by 4 or 5 times, and I also got stuck close to the end of the slide, so I don't know if that's a common occurrence. It sounded like it was, so your results may vary on how well you make it down Jaw Drop, but it is a nice little thrill ride when you first start going down it until you slow down and you get stuck.
Yeah, you can tell us in the comments after you ride the ship, or you already did. Tell us in the comments if it's common to you.
Yeah, like, did you get stuck inside Jaw Drop? Let us know. We're curious to find out. Were we doing something wrong? The food experience. He tried a lot of different foods that he had never had before. I did the same because we did get, I'm not going to say suckered into, we were convinced and talked into getting the specialty restaurant dining package. So we tried 4 different restaurants. Do you remember all 4 restaurants?
I can't remember the name, but it was where I tried the sushi and I really loved it to the point where I just wanted to eat like more.
All right, it's called Kaito Teppanyaki.
And then Paxos.
Okay, and that was a Greek restaurant that's on board. We tried Butcher's Cut.
Yeah.
And then we also tried Italy, which is an Italian restaurant that is on board. I don't remember the name of every dish that we tried on board. I'm sorry. You can go check the video. Some of them I do say the names, or I do show you the menu and speak about what it is that we have. But I mainly want to focus on the things that he tried that he liked, and maybe it's something that your family can get down with. I do have a complaint about Kaito. I explained to them that I had a shellfish allergy, so they made it seem like they weren't going to give me the shellfish that came with my dish, which were prawns. They did give me the prawns on my plate. Luckily, I don't have the deathly shellfish allergy. It's only when I ingest it that it kind of messes with me. So I was able to just take them off my plate. I gave him one. He ate it. I don't know what you thought about the prawn.
I cannot remember what I thought about it, but I guess it was okay.
Okay. And then one of the appetizers they give you is sushi and sashimi with wasabi on the side and some other things. And I had some type of sushi in the past, but it's maybe one time in like the past 18 years have I had sushi. So I don't recall anything about it. He had never had sushi or sashimi. And they put it down, and I'm going to take video and pictures of it. I look over, his plate is halfway gone already. He just dived in. So what did you think about the sushi and sashimi?
Really good. I just ate all that in like probably at least 1 minute.
Yeah. And even if I was reluctant, I can't have him eat it and then me not eat it, because that's almost like when I'm always telling him, hey, try it. I eat it. It's good. So he ate it. I ate it. He did it with no soy sauce. He just ate everything truly raw. I was dipping mine in the soy sauce. Teppanyaki show. Shout out to the chef. You'll see him in the video. I can't remember his name right now. Really entertaining. Really good food there. The teppanyaki, the meal they served up was really delicious. We had a surplus of rice. That's always a good thing, because it always feels like you never get enough rice at those type of places. Anything else you want to say about Kaito?
Yeah, like he said, the chef was really entertaining, and I actually really liked it because, like he said, I said it before him in the video when we were there, and like he really did a lot of tricks that were like really cool. I could not believe my eyes.
Yeah, he did some things I had never seen done. So I don't know if that footage is in there, because I haven't edited those videos as we record this. But yeah, make sure you go back and check out our specialty dining video. Also, we tried Italy. Do you remember what we had at Italy, or what you had at Italy?
You said it was some like spaghetti, I think.
Oh yeah, he had the bolognese or something like that dish. It was good. It was good. Like I said, you'll see it in the video. Maybe, like I said, just go check out the specialty dining restaurant. I might even want to touch on him trying the sushi, and he also had Chilean sea bass, and he destroyed that as well. He thought that was really good. So I guess we're discovering that he really likes seafood. He's gonna be a pescatarian one day. Let's see. What else to touch on? Do you have anything else that you want to speak about that we haven't spoke about yet before I get into my pros and cons of the ship? What did you think about the shows that we saw? Do you remember any of those?
We watched. Do you want me like to name them?
Well, just you don't have to try to rack your brain trying to remember all of them. Were there any that were memorable that you really liked?
I liked the magic show because they literally pulled out the real car. I think I said that in the video, but I'm not actually sure. And
that's the one show you're not allowed to film. So, yeah. So,
but they actually pulled out like the real car. Like Dr. E was there. I asked him, and he said it was the real car.
Okay.
And it was actually like the real Lamborghini.
Okay.
So.
Any other show you remember that you really liked?
That Odyssey show.
Oh, you like the Odyssey show?
Kinda.
Okay. So they do a Odyssey show that's basically like a reimagined version of Homer's Odyssey, and they do it with contemporary music, but it's remixed a little bit. I didn't really enjoy that show. The audio was kind of off, but I like the effects. That was a very high production show that they did. Every show on the ship was a high production show. For me, the ones that stuck out were the Dirty Dancing, the 35-minute show, because they do have two different versions. They have one show that's an hour and a half where they show the movie, I guess, on the background. We didn't see that one. And the singers dance and perform whenever a dance or performance happens in the film. But we saw the 35-minute version where it's just the greatest hits. I've never seen the film. I've never seen the movie. I purchased it now that I'm home. So I'll watch it soon once it arrives. But I didn't know all the music. So I guess that's a sign of a timeless movie or a timeless soundtrack. So I enjoyed that show. The Hall of Fame show is another show that's not... I don't think that one should be missed. I don't think a lot of the crowd on this sailing were the right crowd for, because there's a lot of contemporary music and there's a lot of international people on here who aren't maybe as familiar with some of the American songs that were being played, and also it was an older crowd, and it wasn't necessarily their music. It's a lot of Justin Timberlake, a lot of Beyonce, what's her name, Elizabeth Camacho, who is the woman on board who does the Whitney Houston tribute show. She participates in the Hall of Fame show and gives you a sample of what she's going to do at the Whitney Houston show, and she is phenomenal. She's not to be missed either at Hall of Fame if you just want that taste, but you will be moved by that taste. That show sells out on the ship really quickly, and also that's another thing I'm going to touch on right after this point here. The Whitney Houston show was also phenomenal.
Cinema Sonic.
Oh yeah, did you like that show?
Mm-hmm.
Cinema Sonic, they played one of his favorite anthems from the Top Gun film, so he was losing his mind in there. There was another show that we saw. I don't think you were with me when I saw it, but I pretty much saw almost every show that was on board. I've given you the ones that were most memorable to me. Now, one thing to know is that when you do get on board, as soon as you get on board and you connect to that Wi-Fi, or I should say, when you get on board, connect to that Wi-Fi immediately. Go to your MSC For Me app and start booking your shows, because they do load up and sell out quickly. Now, you can wait 5 minutes before the show if you're outside of the theater and be let in to grab any seats that were not taken. They let in the people who reserve spots in first. So you'll typically still always find your way in. But for me, and my peace of mind, I like to know that I have a seat waiting for me. And then it also encourages me to get there earlier so that I can grab the best seat possible. So I didn't know that, or I forgot about that. So by the time I got into the app and started looking at theater shows, they were pretty much sold out for a majority of them. So there were some that I got into with overflow, Whitney Houston being one of those. Also, I would say every 2 days, go into the app and check the theater shows, because they don't upload every single day for theater shows on day one. Around day 2 or 3, they loaded in more shows for later in the week and for different times as well. So you'll have an opportunity. Like Momentous wasn't put into the MSC For Me app until like day 5 or day 4. So always be checking your MSC For Me app. Anything else you want to talk about before I get into the pros and cons?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the good. We'll end on the bad. I know a lot of people start with the bad and end on the good, but I just want to talk about the positives, because I feel like I have a lot more negatives, and I still love MSC, but there are just some things that I think that they are going to have to do better. And it struck more of a chord on this. I understand this is a mega ship for them. They said this was the first sailing that was at complete capacity, which I believe, including crew for this ship, is somewhere almost 8,000 people. It didn't feel like that. I never felt like we were all on top of one another. I kept seeing the same people over and over again. Mm-hmm. I know Yacht Club on here, I think this is their largest yacht club experience that they have. So maybe a lot of people just were in Yacht Club and not coming out, but I don't know. That's neither here nor there. So some of the positives of the ship: beautiful ship. Love the way that they are maintaining the ship all times of the day. People cleaning everywhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're always cleaning, even on day 7 before you head back to Miami and everyone's at Ocean Key. They pretty much close down the World Promenade. They close down a lot of sections of the ship, and they do a deep steam, thorough cleaning. They got the machines going. They're cleaning the windows inside the ship, outside the ship. Even during the day when they know people are going to be out there and there, they're cleaning the balconies, and they're really making sure that the ship stays in immaculate condition. And obviously, it's only 30 days in. Who knows how long they keep that type of maintenance up? But I did like how meticulous they were about trying to keep things sanitary and, presenting everything in its best light. I love that I have a love-hate. This is kind of a pro and a con. It kind of depends where you are when it comes to your diet and everything like that, or your self-control. When I was on the seashore, one of the main complaints was the nightclubs would close at like 2 a.m. and there would be nothing to eat because the buffet would close at 11. On here, they fixed that. Next to Lunar Park, they have a Quick Bites area that's open until 2 a.m. So you can go in there, you can get pizza. You can go in there and you can get chicken tenders and french fries and hot dogs and nachos. So you get little bar food. So if you're coming back from the club, you still kind of run into the issue where the club closes at 2 a.m. and this restaurant closed at 2 a.m. So you might have to leave Panorama a little early. But, you know, it's worth it because you won't be starving. And here's the MSC World America popping up on the screen now.
They just showed, like, the TV show. This is the second one.
Oh, okay. So,
so you guys can just see what we technically saw on this video right here.
Yeah, I also love they have, I believe it's 6 pools on here. We saw there's 2 main pools. They have an indoor, which is called like the Zen pool, and then they have the main
outdoor,
pool,
which is Mars Azul. That's what they called it. There was a sign.
Yeah. And then I didn't even realize this because we did not even explore the entire ship. Like I said, this wasn't a ship tour video or show you everything. I do eventually show you guys this, but I didn't discover this until like day 6. That there's actually 2 pools in the very back, and I think those are adults only pools. I didn't see any kids back there. It's behind Jaw Drop. It's technically on deck 19, but I believe the only way you can get there is from deck 20. Because you got to go down some stairs, or I think there's an elevator that will take you right there. So those are at the very back of the ship for you guys that like to really sunbathe and not be bothered by any kids. Those pools did stay very full. I feel like the main pool didn't stay as full. The hot tubs always had people in them, and the Zen pool was always fairly empty as well.
It had like a medium amount of people,
Yeah.
like there it was rare that a lot of people would be there, but there was like a lot of people there after, it was like a pattern, you know.
Okay. And also another thing, at the pool now, they also have Quick Bites. So you can get like gelato. They have a bar right outside of the pool. They have three bars actually, and if you count the Zen bar, they got 4 bars basically around the pool where you can grab drinks now. They have Quick Bites out there. They also have the chicken tenders, french fries, burgers, chicken sandwiches, and stuff like that. Pizza, but it's a different type of pizza. It's not the pizza that MSC is world famous for at this point. It's the big square pizza where they don't put any sauce on it or whatever. That's either here or there. But I say that's a pro because now you have more opportunities to get drinks. You have more opportunities to get food on board. I like the many different places now that they offer where there are to party, but I guess this is going to be another one of those pros and cons kind of middle ground is that Luna Park, I don't know what they're going to have to do to get that place kind of more active. I don't feel like a lot of people go to Luna Park, or maybe I heard for the glow in the dark party that they had, they did have a good turnout in Luna Park. I wasn't there for it, but I was told that. But every time I went into Luna Park, it was fairly dead. I also heard for the old school night that they did where it was like 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it was like a flower child party that there were a lot of people in there as well. But for the most part, a lot of people would go to the Panorama Lounge, which is one of their theater venues. So, specialty dining. That's another pro. It was really good. Didn't have anything that was low quality. Let's see. Any more pros that I have? What?
They just showed a video. If you guys were looking at the TV, they showed a video that had it was a ship that had like stuff similar to the ship that we were on. And then there's this ship. I think this is the seashore.
Seaside. But okay. Getting back to the World America. So some of my cons. One of my major cons, and this has me contemplating how if I'm going to do the drink package again, I'm kind of... actually, there is another pro. there's a speakeasy on board. I'm not going to tell you guys how to get to it, but it is a great experience. One thing to know about it, though, is that nothing in your drink package is covered once you discover how to get into there. So weigh that and let that go with one of the cons that I'm getting ready to say, because every time that you purchase a drink or something outside of what's included in your package, you're subject to an 18% gratuity. So it's not one hit every time you make that purchase. So every drink you get down there, you're coming completely out of pocket for it, plus you're paying this 18% gratuity. So keep that in mind. So, like I said, one of my cons is that it seemed like by day 2 or 3, they ran out of premium liquor for the most part on board. Or at least the drinks that I drink, which I am a tequila drinker. That would not be such a bad thing if they did not have a drink menu that specified what type of alcohol was going into your drink. And also, I had an outdated drink package that no longer exists on MSC, and I guess you can call it being gracious. They've raised prices on drinks. My drink package was the Premium Plus package. Not Premium Plus, Easy Plus package, which gave me unlimited drinks. And back in the day, it covered drinks up to $10, which was pretty much all the top shelf on MSC for the most part. They don't have that plan anymore. Now they have 3 drink packages, and it's a premium drink package, a non-alcoholic, and I believe one other drink package that they offer. And if you get the premium alcohol package they offer now, it covers drinks up to $16, which is pretty much where everything on the ship was priced. So, but to bring us Easy Plus package people up to the new pricing, they took our pricing up from $10 drinks to $14 drinks. So, for transparency, they have a menu that kind of shows you kind of what their bartenders I would feel, are trained to make and are good at making. But like I said, it tells you what type of alcohol is supposed to be in your drink. And really on that list for me, there were only 2 drinks that I was really drinking. And those were mojitos, Palomas, and April Spritz. Palomas really being my go-to. And it said they would use Espolón tequila. But like I said, by day 2 or 3, or really, I guess being generous, it was by day 3 they were out of Espolón on the whole ship. But instead of telling me this when I would order a drink, they would give me Jose Cuervo Silver. Now, there's a difference between Jose Cuervo and Espolón tequila on how it tastes, how it affects your body, on all those different things. And I think that the bartender's just pouring that and not notifying me that they don't necessarily have the correct alcohol. That's a problem. Another time in Panorama, I ordered the drink of the day. I can't remember what it was, but I know it had white rum in it. And the bartender went to go pour the white rum, and there was like a tiny corner of white rum. So he poured that, I guess not realizing the bottle was empty, because he looked at the bottle, it was like he couldn't believe it was empty. And the barbacks hadn't stocked, I guess, up the shelves, or they were in the process of stocking the shelves. But rather than ask the barback if they had any more of the white rum, he just poured a random añejo rum or tequila into the drink, which, like I said, the drink called for white rum, and rum drinkers know there's a major difference between the flavors. He poured that, and as soon as he poured it and started shaking the drink, here comes the bar back with 3 bottles of the white rum that he attempted to pour in originally. But he doesn't fix my drink, he just gives me that drink. It's disgusting, so I don't even drink it. And then also I went to Ola Tacos to get a drink of Fortaleza tequila, which was also advertised, and they didn't have any of that. He said they ran out of that on the previous selling. So I don't know what MSC can do, digital menus or something, take off saying that you're going to get this level of alcohol or this brand of alcohol when you order these drinks, and just say rail or whatever the case may be, but I found that annoying. Another thing on the ship, and this I didn't notice when we were coming back from Ocean Key to Miami, and maybe it's because we weren't going as fast, didn't have as many knots, but going to the Dominican, basically the entire cruise with the exception of that one day, The ship creaks and squeaks a lot.
In our room, it does that a lot.
Yeah, I felt like this ship is not one that's built to last 25 years, if I'm just being honest. Hearing it squeak and things like that. And I did speak to my travel agent about that, and she said that she's experienced that on some of these newer ships as well. So maybe it is a speed thing, or maybe they're built to sway and flex or do whatever it is that they're doing. But I know when I was on the seashore, that's not something that I experienced. So your mileage may vary on that. I just wanted to throw that out there. It made it a little bit uneasy being in the room at night, hearing that constantly, or just being in a room in general and hearing that. Let's see, what else is another con that I had on the ship. I'm not gonna say it's high pressure cells, but it does feel like those first 3 days specifically, you are kind of getting pestered a lot to get the specialty restaurant package, get this and get that, and it's a lot of upselling and people jumping out of shops. It feels like trying to get you to come and buy their wares. So that's another one of the cons. And I guess I'm going to mix in some pros here, because I did also want to give a shout out to the company, I believe it's called Neil's. They do the excursion. Specifically, I know they do the snorkeling excursion on Ocean Key, or at least they did for us. Their crew was amazing. It was my son's first time snorkeling, and they were commenting on him. They're like, "Your son is a fish," and I was like, "Yeah, I think he might be Aquaman secretly." They called me the Dark Knight. You might be Aquaman. We're gonna start a Justice League. I think we should start a Justice League.
It's because I had a life vest, and I if I didn't have the life vest, I would keep going under the faster I go.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably why I was going so fast, because I was above the water, and I had the life vest to keep me up, so I wouldn't start falling when I start going faster.
That was your first time using fins too, right?
No.
You used fins before?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you used fins before.
Remember we borrowed some from somebody in Minnesota?
And what did we do with them?
I used them.
Where?
For 30 minutes.
In Minnesota. Oh yeah, that's right.
I did that for I wore them, but I wasn't good with them because it was my first time when I was in swim school, swim testing.
Okay. And I did think of my other con. The DJs suck. There was maybe one good DJ, and I can't even say what they were doing was necessarily DJing, and that was for the silent disco. That was the best time to hear music on the entire cruise. And I understand they have a big international crowd that they're trying to maybe cater to, but that's not an excuse for 7 nights in a row basically playing the same exact playlist in Panorama, the exact same songs every night. There are millions of songs in all these different genres of music that you can play, you can mix, and you can mash up. I don't know what it's going to take for MSC to rectify that. Hell, I would even take them not even having a live DJ and just pulling up a playlist on YouTube from some world-renowned DJ and just letting that play in the nightclub for several hours. Or, bringing in a virtual DJ that's maybe doing a DJ set at EDC or whatever time of year that it is, because I was getting sick and tired of hearing the exact same songs every single night in almost the exact same order, or sometimes hearing the same song 3 times in one night in Panorama. And I didn't even go there every single night because of that. So, and a lot of people were complaining about that. So that's something that MSC can do better as well. And like I said, I guess I'm not keeping everything in order because we're kind of winging it right now. We don't have a script or anything like that. Disembarkation was also very smooth. We waited until a little later. You have to be out of your room. They want you out of your room. I'm not going to say you have to be. They want you out of your room by 7:30 in the morning. The day of, they kind of tell you it's 8 a.m. For those of you first-time cruisers or that are cruise curious, you can get out of your room. You do not have to hang your luggage into the ship. We kept our luggage. I feel like if you turn your luggage in for disembarkation, what they do is they call out your luggage tag numbers or group, and that's when your luggage is ready to be grabbed and you can disembark. So you go get it. In order to make that smooth and not have everybody else in my group go grab their luggage and mine is still sitting there, I choose to keep my luggage. And the thing I will do is go around the ship. I will go get breakfast. You can go to the buffet. You can. A lot of things are closed, but the buffet is open, so you can eat before you leave the ship. So we did do that. We left our room at 7:30. We went and grabbed breakfast. We hung out until maybe like 9 o'clock, and then we began to disembark the ship. So they also made that very smooth. There was a little bit of a line because, like I said, we did wait. So maybe disembarkation took us maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Like medium-sized line. Like it wasn't too long. Like we didn't have to wait like so long, but
yeah,
it was. I would say the disembarkation was like okay.
Yeah. Something that hurt me a lot, and this is something if anybody from MSC is watching this, I did reach out to them. So we're going to see what they do. I didn't hear anything back just yet. We did purchase the digital photo package, which is where they tell you that before you disembark the ship, make sure you download all of your pictures that they took of you on the ship with their professional photographers. You download them to your phone. And I did do that.
My photos weren't in there. My solo photos.
Yeah, so I did do that. I just saw that there was a certain number of photos, and I was like, okay, like, guess all the photos are here. I was like, I felt like we took more, but I was kind of rushing. So I hit downloaded everything from the link that they had in there, and went on about my business. It wasn't until I disembarked that I went to go look for photos of him by himself that were not in there. The photos of me by myself and the photos of me and him together were in there, but none of the photos that he took by himself were in there. And that was the whole reason I even purchased the package. So I was under the impression, and nobody corrected me on this, and I didn't know, and just for those of you watching this, I didn't just stop by the photo thing one time. I did stop over there about 3 times, I believe, just to see what the process was the first time, and the second time was to see what had been put in there for the most part, that the number, that things were going in there, we were being recognized, but I wasn't in there really focused on the specific photos. So, but nobody said anything to me about how to get his photos to show up. After the fact, I went onto the Facebook forums and people were saying that I guess I had to scan his cruise card and link it to my account. But when I selected the digital photo package, I felt like it selected me and it wouldn't let me select him. And so that everything would be linked to either the room or to me. And even when we were taking the photos, the photographers, I would say, hey, let him take photos by himself. And they would always grab me and say, no, you got to get in the first couple photos. So I'm under the impression that if I start the process with him, that the photos are going to the room because they don't recognize him as a minor. And then we would do our photos together, and then they would either do individual photos with me and then with him, or I would just step to the side and say, just take pictures of him. So bottom line is, be checking if you get the all digital package, which I do think is worth it, but just make sure that all the photos that you want are in the folder or at the link whenever it is that you choose to go and download them. Like I said, I've contacted MSC through their Facebook page and also over the telephone. I haven't heard anything back on either end of that, and I hope that I hear from somebody tomorrow. Overall, MSC World America, should people go on that ship?
Yes, but I warn you, if anything goes wrong, like, you might have to do it yourself. Like, if you ask, like, a crew member and they say, oh, we don't know how to fix it, you might have to do it yourself, which is probably going to be a problem.
What happened? Something happened that I missed? When did that happen?
Well, it didn't happen to us, but we're just warning you guys because we had, like, a couple of concerns, you know?
Like what?
Like what you said.
Oh well, that was after the cruise, but I didn't run into any of that. But I am gonna, like I said, I just wanted to see. So should people go on there? Should they sell on there? What rating do you give it? One thumb, two thumbs, mid, 10, a 10, a 9? What you give it? What's your rating system?
Really good. So I'll give it 2 thumbs up, 10. Yeah, it's just like what I said. Like,
you want to cruise again?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to cruise with MSC again?
Mhm.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna give World America a 7, and that's just because, like I said earlier, I have the Seashore to compare it to, and I felt the Seashore, although I didn't have all of the goodies, and I can't speak on the kids club or anything like that because I didn't have him with me when I went on that. I like the elegance of the Seashore. I feel like the World America is more like a mall. So if I'm giving them both a ranking, I'll probably give the Seashore an 8, and I would give the World America a 7. Like I said, from the also the Seashore, I didn't have the drink package, so I didn't run into any of the issues that I ran into on this cruise ship. But the Seashore, I felt like I had more options to relax. I met more people. I felt that the venues and the things that I did go to were a lot better visited, I guess. Like the nightclub or the party scene on there was maybe a little bit better, and that's due to so many venues on World America hosting things at the same time. So you'll have Luna Park doing something, you'll have Panorama doing something, there will be something going on at the World Theater. So there's always something going on here, and sometimes that can be a little overwhelming, or it can split the audience. So some things don't feel like they're as well attended as you may have expected, or that you would have liked for them to have been attended. So, like I said, right now I would rank Seashore above the World America as far as the experience. Do I think that is good for a first-time cruiser? Right now they're doing 7-day sailings, and honestly, this being my second cruise, I would not recommend a 7-day sailing as your first cruise, in my opinion. Maybe if you have a child, he seemed fine with the 7-day sailing. For me, I look at it and I say I think a 4-day was perfect. 5-day maybe pushing it, but 4 days I feel is perfect. If you're a seasoned cruiser, then you'll know what you like. If you want to do a 4-day, a 3-day, a 5-day, a 7-day, or more, but I feel like I would not choose MSC World America necessarily as my introduction to cruising, except for, or with the exception of Dr. E being on there, because I do feel that he is striving to make a positive change for MSC and bringing in a younger audience. I think that it's going to alienate a couple of the international people. But this is called the MSC World America, which represents North and South America. But I do think that he's trying to cater some of the programming. I don't know how much input he has, but it feels like they're trying to cater to a younger audience. Is that going to work? I did see a lot more younger people on this cruise than I've seen before, but that's with it being the newest ship. And there was a lot of first-time cruisers on there. But that's with it being one of the newer ships and is very hot. MSC has stepped up their social media game. Now, like there was a time where it seemed like they were really frosty to YouTubers and influencers and stuff like that. But it seems like they're opening up that relationship with them. So we'll see what comes of the World America in the future. I wouldn't mind going back on there after our sailing. They did a Mexico sailing to Cozumel, Costa Maya, somewhere else, and back to Ocean Key. I may try that itinerary with DJ here one day, but as of right now, like I said, I would give the World America a 7. I would give the Seashore an 8, and you know what? I probably give them a 7.5 as I think about it. Like it was fun, but like I said, the alcohol thing, the digital photo package mishap, the squeaking and the creaking of the cruise cabin, those are some of those things that, the squeaking, that could probably be fixed. Like I said, we weren't going fast, it wasn't doing that. The alcohol, That's something they can fix. They can bring on more alcohol. Also, they ended up running out of chicken tenders. But that was understandable. That was like day 6.
That was like the last day.
Yeah, that was like the last day. And they replaced it with fried calamari.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Fried calamari with fries at the pizza and burger place.
Yeah, so, like I said, the things that I'm complaining about are things that I feel that are easily fixable. You can hire better DJs. You can get virtual DJs. You can, hell, just find playlists. Have DJs make you exclusive sets for your cruises, and you just rotate them. Have like 20 DJs submit something. Hell, throw on Spotify top 20. I don't know. But these are all things that they can easily correct and move up into a 9 or a 10. Because with the way they're maintaining the ship, the quality of the food, they're bringing in the younger crowd. Dr. E is a phenomenal cruise director. He was everywhere. You saw him everywhere. You heard him every morning, every afternoon, every night.
He sung like very nice songs. Like every time he got on an announcement, he would always sing something, and he would start talking what was going on and stuff.
Yeah, he's a great hype man for the shows. The shows now they have are Las Vegas caliber. They have a great singer in Elizabeth Camacho. So, like I said, check it out. I know 7.5 doesn't sound maybe that great. But like I said, one of the things that devastated me was the thing with the photo package, and I haven't heard anything back from MSC right now. And like I said, my cons kind of outweigh my pros in my opinion. But but bringing it back, Kids Club was awesome. Specialty restaurants were awesome. Excursion that we went on was awesome. Ocean Key is expanding. Awesome. I didn't even get off when I was on the seashore. I got off now, and Ocean Key is beautiful. They have way more shade, way more trees, and yeah, they're growing. I'm still an MSC fan, unless they screw me over with the digital photo package. Stay tuned to the Instagram, and we'll let you know how that goes. But other than that, you got anything else?
Nah, I can think of.
All right, well, we'll see you on the next video. Holla back at your boys. Peace.